With the populations declining for the last 30 years, researchers from the University of British Columbia are currently researching the behavior of stellar sea lions in an effort to improve future conservation efforts. Carling Gerlinsky, a current master's student at UBC, focusing on stellar sea lions and their diving abilities, conducts her research here. But why this lab instead of an aquarium?
So the Open Water Research Facility is a place where we have taken captive trained animals. We've taken them out into the open ocean and set up equipment that allows us to measure things on them when they dive. And we can manipulate and control certain variables such as what they're eating and how deep they're diving, how long they're diving. And so something that has allowed us to get away from the constraints of doing research in an aquarium, such as shallow depths and less realistic conditions.
Carling felt the sea lion's diving limit was greatly affected by the metabolic rate as they dive. To measure this, researchers used one of the most distinctive and vital features of the open water lab, a respiratory dome.
We have a respiratory dome that's a plexiglass dome that sits on top of the water.
And when the animals, before and after the animals dive, they have to go inside this dome, and that's how we measure their metabolic rate.
That blue tube coming out is what's drawing air through the tube, and it's drawing air into the oxygen and CO2 analyzers that are on the dome.
The air that's flowing through the dome, we can measure how much oxygen the animals consume and how much CO2 they produce, and from that we can calculate how much energy they're using when they dive.
Okay, Scie, dive!
When the sea lions dive, they swim around and eat fish. But where do the fish come from? On the surface, the open water staff use tubes to deliver delicious fish in timed intervals. These tubes serve a very important purpose in the research. They simulate patches of fish, which causes nutritional stress. What effect could that have on the sea lion's ability to dive?
Good question. So, nutritional stress could have a few different effects on diving ability. It could change the amount of oxygen the animals have in their body, and it could also change the rate at which they use that oxygen or their metabolic rate. So it could have either a positive or a negative effect depending on how it affects these two parameters. And I found in a future study actually that they when they're under nutritional stress, they actually do have more oxygen stored in their body, but they also have a higher metabolic rate, so it costs them more energy to dive.
Since food plays such a key role in the sea lions' lives, then it only makes sense that they get the very best. Doubling as personal chefs, trainers Nigel and Troy prepare herring in the on-site kitchen.
Feed the fish down to create a prey patch for the animals to feed and forage upon. So we end up using the food that we feed the animals a lot for from an actual research standpoint as part of the trials, not just for the food that we're feeding to them. So for us, we only have so much food that you can really feed to an animal each day before they get stuffed, just like us. So we cut up the food just to make it last longer, go farther.
As the stars of the lab, their health is constantly monitored. And like a prize fighter at the weigh-in before a championship bout, the trainers have to make sure the stellar sea lions are in excellent condition before they start their dives. Once their checkup is complete, it's time to get dressed. The sea lions are fitted with a specially designed harness. The harness allows the researchers to more accurately track the behavior of these sea lions in the water. This gives them a clearer idea of the relationship between diving behaviors and nutritional stress caused by fluctuating food availability. So what exactly is on the harness?
This is a VHF radio tag, so we know where she is if she's at the surface, because this has to be at the surface to get a signal. A little light that we turn on for a lot of times when she's diving, typically at deeper dives. We have an accelerometer that we put into here. This is a mount for a GoPro camera, you know that, so she can do some filming for it. That's how you dress a sea lion.
As Nigel watches Scie dive on the monitor, his mind contemplates the diving abilities and limits of these graceful animals.
Diving limits are really important because they help us understand where animals can dive and how long they can dive in order to get food. So marine mammals like stellar sea lions, they rely on the ocean in order to forage for fish and to capture prey, and so if they can't dive as deep or as long, it's going to limit what types of fish and how much fish they can get.
The research conducted at the Open Water Lab has served to deepen our understanding of the diving limits of stellar sea lions. As we learn more about the relationship between a stellar sea lion's diving habits and the availability of its food, steps can be taken to ensure that these beautiful creatures are with us for years to come.
Surface!